wrong PC. But anyway, I had to tell you that Rabiel has been such a blessing in my life. You know, I get to meet him, he had a little shoulder issue. His shoulder went out more than he did. I get better, don't worry, I get better. And I operated on him, and we're settling the lawsuit next week. But I got to realize how brilliant this guy is. I mean, his IQ is higher than my mortgage. Did you know that he was Doogie Howser's tutor in college? You know this guy? And, you know, he lives his faith. I'm here to say, as I get older, and I won't say how old I am.
How old are you?
My social security number is 6. I'm so old, when I was a kid, the Dead Sea was just sick. I'm so old, when I was in school, we didn't have history. And my driver's license is in Latin. How about that? It's great to see some real doctors. I'm just a technician, orthopedist, you know. Football fixing. This guy's a real doctor. He's a pulmonologist, and he takes care of people that are really, really sick. So I asked Arshad, the lung doctor, I said, "What's good for my wind?" He goes, "A kite." I get better, Gene. I get better. Okay? It's not my day job, okay?
Okay.
And but I'm just so grateful to be here with my good friend Rabiel, who makes things happen. This guy got more people vaccinated in the last 2 months. Let's hear it for Rabiel. You know, I had a lot of people call me. I need to evacuate. My wife is a nurse, who is the best nurse ever, and she retired, but she's still a nurse. In fact, nursing's in her blood. The other day she got pulled over. She went through a red light, and the cop said, "Ma'am, what does that red light mean to you?" She goes, "The bedpan in bed 6." Sorry, Marie, don't worry. She's Polish, I'm going to talk a little slower, okay? So, she says she's smarter than I am, you know. I don't know where this dumb Polish thing came. She has 3 brothers, they're all like rocket scientists, and one of them's so smart I can't even talk to. But I come from a long line of alcoholics. I'm so Irish, my first breath was a .2. When they cut the umbilical cord, an olive came out. But Rabiel, like, you know, I said, "Rabiel, what do you do with these vaccines?" He goes, "I have 200 used tomorrow. Who are your friends?" So he single-handedly got all these people that are older, disabled folks in Philly that were just waiting, and he got them done. The guy's amazing. So, you know, I'm so blessed to know him. He makes things happen. And I did a comedy skit. He goes, "Yes, you had actually 200,000 viewers." I'm used to playing the Acme parking lot. You know, I did a big gig last week. My mom came, my 2 cousins. So he makes things happen. But how about the food tonight? Let's get a little food. This is the best meal I've had since reform school, I'm telling you. And I'm a terrible cook. Marie will tell you, you know, the other day, it took me an hour to make minute rice. I burnt the stove. You know, whenever I cook dinner, we pray after we eat. You like that? What's your name? Young lady. Adessa. Okay, when's your next movie? So, and how about you next to you? What's your name? But my waitress, I'm a big tipper. You get a chance for 5? All right. No, so you know, I'm such a bad cook. Every year, the flies pitch in and repair the screen door. These are known as jokes, ladies and gentlemen. So I just wanted to just share with you some things. There's some teachers in here, and I can't tell you how much one teacher can change a life. So I'll give you my story. I was raised in Wilmington, Delaware, tough neighborhood. My neighbor was so tough, we used to celebrate a birthday 6 months in advance, just in case we didn't make it. If you saw a cat with a tail on, you knew it was from out of town. We used to hold fireworks in our hands and let them off. My buddies, let me see, there was Lefty, One Eye, Two Finger. I remember all my buddies. But I went to school at St. Anne's Church. We're Catholic. I'm a Catholic in recovery. I have a PhD in guilt. I spent jury duty last week, Gina. I spent the whole week convincing the jurors that I'm the one you wanted. I did it. It was me. So I remember the first grade, I had Sister Rocky Marciano. She had a PhD in pain. Sister Mike Tyson, 7th grade. Back then, time out was when you're out, cold. And I got hit a lot, Mr. ADD here. I have something called ADHD, that's called attention deficit. That's a beautiful sweater you have there. So I remember every year the nun would put my finger into a socket and say I was grounded. Hey, don't laugh, she was current. Come on. She was current. We've come a long way. In fact, so third year, I had a wonderful sister named Sister Viola. I won't say she was old, but she was a waitress at the Last Supper. And I don't know what I did, but she loved me. I was talkative, and she brought my dad aside and says, I know what Johnny's problem is. I almost failed second grade, Gina. I had a D- average, and so said, I know what Johnny's problem is. He's bored. He needs to go to a private school. Then she told my dad something you never tell an Irish guy. There's a new private school. Of course, none of you can afford it. My dad, thank Allah, worked 2 jobs to put me through school, which led to a scholarship to a private school. In the private school, half our senior class went to an Ivy League school. So I got out of the hood because of one teacher. One teacher. I had kids in my neighborhood that were on drugs, committing suicide, locked up, and I thank one teacher who affirmed me, who saw something in me I didn't see myself. So it just means all the difference. So I had this inclination to love teachers. I actually dated a teacher, but I had to break up with her because I would write her love letters and she would correct them all. But I want to just say that very, very rarely in your life do you meet someone who has such an impact on the well-being of others as Rabiul Chaudhry. And I have a kinship to Islam because my mother was a Maronite Christian and she had great devotion to Mary. So I never leave home without my musbah. So I have a great reverence for Our Lady. There's a whole book in the Quran on Mary, and I couldn't live my life without the Blessed Mother and her son Jesus, of course. But Rabiul is he's a game changer. And for those of you that don't believe in vaccines, Asha will back me up. I was born in 1956. I'm an old guy. In 1955, before that time, anyone hear of polio? Does anyone know what an iron lung is? People with polio, before Marina were raised, if they had polio, it had bulbar polio, it would shut off the diaphragm. They couldn't breathe. They lived in iron lungs. In 1955, one vaccine, invented by a fellow named Jonas Salk, changed everything. Changed everything. In 1979, polio was eradicated in the United States. Why? Because of vaccines. So those who don't believe in vaccines, please, here's my synthesis of faith. If it's good, it's from Allah. Vaccines are good. They're good. They're game changers. Tell your friends not to be afraid. Tell your friends that it's good, that it'll save lives. And think about the iron lung and what Jonas Salk did, how one vaccine changed our lives. So, in closing, I want to raise our glass to my friend Rabiul Chaudhry, who is a force of nature, a force of good, who has probably helped more lives than I have in my 30-year medical career, just through his vaccination, his COVID campaign, his the comedy relief thing bombed, thanks to me, but anyway. But I want to raise our water glasses, and you know what, guys? It's all about Allah. It's all about God. All right?
Cheers.
Now let's trash this joint, okay? Let's go! Just joking. I love this place. Marina, I'm gonna come here. She's a Glen Olden girl, and